Hello, this is the Timeless Tarot, and in today's reading we're looking at the sign of Aquarius for the next 4 to 6 weeks and what might be coming in for you. So let's start by looking at the bottom. I've put out a Celtic cross spread and we're going to start by looking at the bottom of the deck, and we have got, actually I want to look at the bottom 2 cards at the bottom of the deck. We've got Four of Pentacles and the High Priestess. Four of Pentacles is a card of clinging on tightly to what you've got, possibly to clinging on to old ideas, old values. Old values feels like a thing, or old possessions, potentially an old way of life. And the High Priestess is the card of intuition, and potentially then that would imply that you know that you are clinging on too tightly to something that is no longer serving you and your best purpose, I think. Oh, and I've just seen that card of communication underneath. I just really felt like I wanted to have another look underneath, and we've got communication from potentially a love partnership. Right, that's interesting then. So if I'm going to read those 4 together, potentially you're waiting. I would say you're waiting to hear from a love interest. That's what that feels like to me. And with the High Priestess, I wonder if maybe waiting is not what you should be doing. Your intuition is telling you something, whether to wait or not to wait. That is the question. That's what it feels like anyway. To wait or not to wait for communication from your loved one. Well, okay. We'll see as we go along. Centre of the spread, we have got the Wheel of Fortune. Oops. There are a few cards in the deck that indicate change, but what's particularly nice about the Wheel of Fortune is that change is coming regardless of what you do and regardless of what you don't do, regardless of what you think and regardless of what you feel. Change is coming. Potentially something is slowing down that change, and that would be a masculine pride, I would say. So if you are waiting to hear from somebody that you've been in connection with, I would hazard a guess that that person should have got in touch with you by now, and you know that, and they haven't, and you know why. It's because of their pride. Yeah, that feels absolutely a thing. This is also the Aries card. But to be honest, I'm not going to say anything more about that because that feels very clear to me. What's crowning the situation, or what's obvious or on the surface, or what is relevant, or what maybe is going to be a turning point for you particularly. We've got the moon, and we've got a big full moon in Aquarius coming up. I can't think when, maybe Monday? Very soon anyway. A big full moon in Aquarius coming up very soon. I have been hearing that this is it's been bringing a lot of change. The build up to this Aquarian full moon is bringing quite a lot of change in. And so because this is on the crowning position, I would say in a fairly obvious way. So it could be that you've decided not to wait for this person to get in touch anymore. It could be that you haven't thought about them for a while and then suddenly they're back in your mind. One or the other, I think. You've either started thinking about them again or you've stopped thinking about them. Yeah. And actually, that links in perfectly with the Wheel of Fortune. The change is coming, and it's going to be around about the full moon. I wish I could remember what date it is. I feel like it might be the 19th. It is. The 19th, Monday the 19th of September is the Aquarius full moon, and that is going to bring in change, so you don't have to do anything. The change is coming for you. Well, that's great. Regardless of how proud and or stubborn the masculine might be, the change is coming. In the past, but oh, right, actually. Normally I go straight to the underneath, but today I'm going to the past. So let's roll with that feeling. In the past position, you have heartbreak. I feel like that the connecting itself was heartbreaking in a way. That's a funny thing to say, isn't it? Why would a connection with somebody who you want to be in partnership with be heartbreaking? Maybe because you couldn't have them. Not in the way you want anyway. Not in the way that has felt good for you. That's the past. So you've been heartbroken. The future is that you're resigned to this situation as it is. Potentially then you're moving on from it, feeling like nothing can change. But this is also a card of change. So we have 2 cards of change. And we have 2 cards of feeling similarly, heartbroken and defeated. Heartbroken in the past, defeated in the future. I think this means that there's nothing you can do to bring the situation forward. And actually that's good because we've already said there's nothing you need to do. I might take a clarifier for that, but first I want to look at the bottom of the deck, and we have a man who cannot make up his mind, or a masculine energy that cannot make up his mind, does not know how he feels. Actually, I think that's slightly wrong. I think he does know how he feels, but he doesn't know what to do about how he feels. And therefore he's doing nothing about how he feels. And therefore things are not moving on. And therefore you have not heard from him. Yeah. I mean, if the Emperor is the major arcana of pride, then the 4 of Pentacles is the minor. There's a lot of pride here at stake. I wonder why. Why can't he act on what he feels? Because he's definitely feeling something. He isn't telling anybody what he's feeling, and he's not displaying it for people to see. I think it doesn't matter to you because you already know how he feels, because he feels the same as you. This is a fundamental, true, strong connection. And I think you both feel the same. But he's not acting on it. We've got to clarify the King of Cups. We have a Queen of Swords and we have the Chariot. It feels to me like he either hasn't moved things forward because he's going to have to cut somebody else off, or he is cutting somebody else off in order to move things forward. Potentially it's both. Maybe he hasn't moved things forward because it meant cutting somebody else out of his life to bring the 2 of you together. I think if that's the case, this is changing. This is our 3rd card of change so far. We've got the Wheel, just to recap, Wheel of Fortune, Chariot, 10 of Swords. They're all changes. So the change is coming. And because the Chariot's in the underneath position, you won't know that he's planning a change. I mean, it almost feels like he doesn't know he's planning a change, and yet he is. He is, because it's time. It's time. It's absolutely time for this situation to change and move. Good. Well, that feels quite good. I feel quite comfortable with that. So if he's not making a change yet to move things forward, he is going to be soon. And potentially in a few days, I would say. So either that or the next 4 weeks. Oh, did I say this was a reading for the next 4 to 6 weeks anyway? Yeah. So potentially in the next 4 to 6 weeks, if you're not viewing this at the time of the Aquarian full moon. In the personal position, we have the card of defense. I feel a little bit like this situation has really taken it out of you. And if he is waiting to move things forward, potentially you might not be pleased to hear from him. That's what that feels like. Potentially he's taking too long. And if it's not that, if he does come back, potentially you're going to have to defend your position with him in partnership to other people. It's what that feels like. Don't forget, at the start, on the underneath, we did have communication. And because it's underneath, he is thinking about communicating. He is going to communicate. I'm pretty sure about that. But you don't know it yet. You've had absolutely no sign of it yet. Everything is very, very quiet currently. In fact, you know, both these cards are very quiet. Playing his cards close to his chest and not saying anything. Yeah. Yeah, the swine. Okay. In the home position, well, you know, your home is where you're hoping to have him. This is what you want. You want to have this happy home life in partnership. This is also my twin flame card. This is a strong, there's no question that Aquarius, you've been in a very strong soul bond with somebody, and the fact that it didn't move forward in the past has left you heartbroken and feeling defeated and potentially feeling quite defensive about the whole thing. But you're still hanging in there. It feels like you still want it. You still want it. It felt so right, real and good. You want it. You've not given up. Well, quite right. Quite right. Why would you give up if you felt this strongly about something? I think the problem is the situation was not ideal. You know what? I always say relationships are founded on two things and two things only. Chemistry and timing. So clearly there was a lot of chemistry, but the timing wasn't right. In fact, this whole reading is about timing. Timing is key here. You know, we've got nearly moving. We've got moving anyway. We've got the full moon. Regardless of how proud or confused the masculine is, you know, you're still hopeful. You're waiting for that connection to come back together. Just waiting to hear. And it is going to. It is going to. And also, actually, I tell you what as well, that's also 4 weeks. So this is a 4 to 6 week reading. We've got the moon, that's 4 weeks. Well, it's also Monday, the 19th of September in this particular case. And this is 4 weeks. And interestingly, hopes and fears, we've got the 6 week card. So, and this reading is 4 to 6 weeks. So this is all tying in very nicely. In the hopes and fears position, we've got the 6 of Wands. This is the card of victory. Getting what you want. Achieving your goal. You're hoping for victory. And I do think it's coming. I was going to get another card for that 10 of Swords, and I'm going to do it now. Why are we having the 10 of Swords in the future position? Yes, we can. Ooh, okay. It's another soulmate card, but it's bringing upheaval. Yeah, wow, 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 wow. If you're not familiar with the tarot, the Tower is the card of, well, destruction. Well, yeah, destruction. Major upheaval. That's feeling defeated. That's blowing things up. That's another soul connection. Neither of you can get away from the strength of the connection. The strength of the connection itself is sort of dynamite. Yeah. And it's worth blowing up the rest of your life for. It is worth it. You know, I do think that the masculine knows that. He knows it's worth it. It's just a case of, can he do it or not? Currently, he's not doing it, but he is definitely thinking about it. You can't stop thinking about it. This is everything. Oh, I really feel like crying. Oh, this is really everything for him and for you. Sorry. It's too big. It's too big not to move it forward. I don't think either of you can be happy without the other. That's what it feels like. Don't get me wrong, I think you're trying really hard, Aquarius, to be happy without the other person. But I just don't think it's possible. There's a partnership. Oh, actual tears there for you. Actual tears. This is heartbreaking. This is a heartbreaking situation that really has to come together. It really has to. Let's move on to the outcome. We have Judgment. Yeah, he's awake. He's woken up to this. It's, you know, it feels like now or never. That's what it feels like. I suppose as well, of course, we're still in your opposite sign of Leo. This is, yeah, it's combustible. This is a combustible big full moon, and it's going to be bringing a huge wake-up call in. I just had a vague feeling then that potentially something might bring it forward. I'm not saying it's not the full moon. The full moon is going to bring it forward, but something else might also bring it forward. Potentially, this isn't going to be for all of you, but potentially if you've been unwell, or you've had some sort of accident, maybe they don't know about that, maybe they're going to hear about it, and I think that's going to hit them very hard, because I took some extra clarifiers for the Judgment card, and we have the Seven of Swords here. Now, it is the card of sneaking around, but in this case, and your situation could have been secret. And I do think it probably has been. I don't think he's told anybody about it. But that's not really what I'm going to read here. What this really is a 5 and a 2. The 2 is a choice and the 5 is a battle. And the wake-up call is that he's going to choose to go into battle for this connection, because it feels like he can't lose anymore. There's nothing else to lose. It already feels like he's lost. This is the card of victory, and of course the opposite of victory. And this is why I said I thought these two cards were connected. The opposite of victory is defeat. And you've both been feeling defeated by this situation. Yeah, he can't lose anymore. It feels like he can't lose because he's already lost. That's what that feels like. I also took 2 others. So these are the extra cards. I don't always take extra cards for the outcome, but sometimes extra cards really, really want to come out. So there's a big wake-up call coming around about the full moon. This is a card of retreat, but today I'm not reading like that. This is often for me another moon card. It's also the 8th month of the year. It's the full moon in the August month, and that is now. It's a big wake up. And he's got a choice to make. He can choose to... Do you see what I mean? Perhaps you can't see, but the 2 swords are up on the top and the 5 are on his back and in his hand. Yeah, it's like he's leaving. The choice has been made, and he is prepared to go into battle for this connection. And we also had the 2 of Swords. He has chosen. And if he hasn't chosen, he will be choosing on and around the 19th of September. You can't not do it now. It's too strong. It's too strong. That's the Soulmate card, the Twinflame card, the card of true connection, and the card of communication. And so, although he's been feeling defeated, you've both been feeling defeated by this situation that you've not been in together in part, while you've not been in partnership, the time has come for that to change. This is a big change card. If I just go back to all the change cards we've had, we've got the Wheel of Fortune, we've got the Chariot, we've got the Ten of Swords, we've got the Tower, and we've got Judgment. Now, all of those are cards of change. Yeah. He's waking up. So if you, Aquarius, have been waiting for a masculine to come forward and communicate with you, he will be doing that around about the full moon in Aquarius, which is on the 19th of September, or if you're watching this at a different time of year, around the time of the next full moon, or in the next 4 to 6 weeks, because he now knows that. And do you know what? It's not that he now knows at all. He's known this for a long time, that you're the only one for him. He's known this for, I want to say, a really long time. So it's not that he only knows now. He's known for ages. But he's woken up to the fact that actually he has to do something about it. He can't be without you anymore. This was a very powerful reading. It actually made me cry. Whew. So, if you've been feeling a certain... Your intuition is on point, is the only thing to say here. Yeah, I feel like you've known for a long time this has got to come back together. It's got to come back together, even if you then discover you're not going to be together forever. You have to come back together in order to have a conversation, to work out what's going to happen in the future. And you've known that for a long time, I think. The future, what's in store in the future is victory. He knows how he feels. He's just been extremely stubborn about it. He could be actually, although this is an Aries. Our first card we talked about was this one. It could have strong earth energy. Could be quite stubborn. Well, this is all about timing. This reading's about timing, and the chemistry's there and the timing is coming right now. Right now. Wow, good luck with that, Aquarius. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please like and subscribe so that I can read your energy more easily, which will help me to do more accurate readings for you in the future. If you'd like a personal reading, my information is in the description box below. But until next time, this has been the Timeless Tarot. Goodbye.